Hi, today we will learn about policy implementation through privatization. Who know what is policy and policy implementation? Policy is an administrative guideline on a well-organized idea, while policy implementation is what happens after a law is passed. This is policy implementation actor and agency. In Malaysia system and structure, the executive body is a federal government policy maker led by the Prime Minister and 28 other ministers, while the cabinet comprise those representing the majority party in the parliament. Categories public policy. Regulatory policy. Government limit on individual choice in order to restrict unacceptable behaviour. Example, kepimpinan melalui teladan. Second, redistributive policies. Government tax one group of people in order to provide benefit to another group. Example, tax and subsidies. Next is distributive policy. Give benefit to some portion of the population and pay for those benefit from general tax revenue. Example, dasar ekonomi baru. And the last one is security and defense policy. Preservation of national security and protection of national strategic interests. Example, dasar luar negara. What is the purpose of policy? Purpose of policy is to increase the efficiency, to decrease management costs, and as a guide to achieve objective. Okay, look at what approach to implementation. First, structural approach require choosing the appropriate organization to accomplish the task. Second is procedural and managerial approach. Develop appropriate process and procedure for managing and implementing program. Next is a behavioral approach. Acceptabilities and consensus building required in implementing policies viewed with conflicting lens by a various stakeholder. Last, political approach. Anticipate political obstacles and take them into account before the formulation objective and selection of option. Policy implementation process. Government agency begin the job of making the policy work by established procedure, writing guidance document or issuing grant in aid to other government. Use of policy implementation. First is to make people aware of the policy or program. Second is to make it easier for people to adopt new behavior. Third is to require people to adopt new behavior under threat or penalty. Last, to offer the positive benefit or incentive to people who change their behavior in the desired direction. Policy implementation approach. Top-down approach only adapt perspective of those in higher level of government and neglect the role of other actors. Bottom-up, evaluating the effect of a policy become difficult. Procedural approach, policy is made by a policy maker as a guideline. Top-down versus bottom-up. Top-down, inflexibility, bureaucracy, overall control, no moral motivation. People feel that their opinion does not matter. Bottom-up, flexibility, agility, collaboration, high motivation. Team members contribute to the way the project is developed. Problem to implementation. Lack of staff, lack of finance support, lack of support from top, shortage time, and a corruption interested. Privatized policies in Malaysia, such as Malaysia Airline Company at 1980. Here the video corporate of the Malaysia Airline.
It's been more than 50 years since the first aircraft of the Royal Malayan Airline took to the air from within the jungles of Malaysia. The national carrier of the newly proclaimed state of Malaysia began by establishing itself within the Southeast Asian region, but quickly expanded its horizons. Today, we have witnessed the tiny regional airline grow and develop into one of the world's premier carriers.
Hope enjoy our presentation. Thank you.